All right, we should be live. I'll be right back. I'll go to the bathroom real quick.
It's Thursday night, and it is the Slingshot Racing League. Tonight, we're bringing you live action from a recruitment race for the Apex Energy Cup Series from Homestead-Miami Speedway. We're 30 miles south of Miami at this 1.5-mile track. My name's Ellis Thomas, and I'm joined by my co-host Chris Smith. The first Cup race at this track, Homestead-Miami, was hosted in 1999 and won by none other than Tony Stewart. It's gone through a series of reconfigurations, with its most recent being in 2003. We'll talk about what that means here in a little bit. But like I said, it's 1.5 miles, but it is not a D-shaped oval, unlike most other 1.5 milers on the schedule. One fun fact, 1,005 palm trees of different varieties line the property. However, Chris, this is not going to be a vacation for drivers tonight. How's it going for you?
It's going really well for me, and I think that you hit it perfectly right there. This is a tough, wore out, slick 1.5 mile track. I think it's really important to note what you said about the fact that this is not a D shaped oval. This is actually, if memory serves me, on the Cup schedule right now, this is the only perfectly shaped oval that is 1.5 miles. You don't see many of them, and personally, I think this puts on some of the best racing out of all the 1.5 mile tracks. You're going to see cars
Now,
on the very bottom all the way up to the wall.
and why is that? Let's talk about that variable banking that came with that repave in 2003. 18 to 20 degrees of variable banking. Tell viewers what that term variable banking means.
So the very bottom of the track has a little bit less banking than the very top of the track, and it just varies in degrees as you go up. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I want to say it starts at 18 degrees on the bottom, moves up to 19 degrees, and then 20 degrees at the very top. And what that lends itself to is a lot of side-by-side racing, because the shorter way around is obviously around the white line, around the bottom of the track, but you can find a lot of speed up on the top because it has a little bit more banking. What this also promotes is slide jobs. You see more slide jobs here than you do at any other 1.5 mile circuit on the Cup Series schedule. And a lot of that's just because A, the track is really, really wore out, but B, the banking as you move up the track sort of catches your car and lets you be able to really, really drive hard on the exit of the corner because of that. So this is a really, really fun track, and it normally puts on a really great show.
So you mentioned tire fall off a little bit. Homestead is also known to be kind of a track that will change over the course of the race as rubber gets built up on the track. How difficult is it going to be for drivers to really figure out if it's them or it's the track kind of shifting as the night goes on for 50 laps here?
It'll be tough starting out. This place will really kind of lull you into a false sense of security, especially if you put your car right up on the wall, as we're watching Scott Sobeck right now take his qualifying laps around Homestead-Miami. He is using that top lane, and it'll kind of lull you into a false sense of, hey, I'm really, really fast up here, but because you are up on the wall, you're using a little bit more track. He gets the wall off of turn 4 right there, so this lap will be for now, and it looks like Scott already took a lap before, so his first lap will be the lap of record, 33.776. Currently, that is fastest, but yeah, hopefully these guys will keep that in mind while they're trying to hold on to their tires.
Yeah, and as we talk about that high line that Scott Sobzak was just running, let's just say we have a restart. That's a good chance we might not go green all the way tonight. If we were to have a restart, how important is maybe that outside line on a restart and a driver's ability to kind of get up to the top to be able to pass a bunch of cars that might be stacked, down on the bottom? Are these going to be exciting restarts?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I say that the top, can lull you into false security, but you can be really fast up there. And so because of that, sometimes on a restart, that's exactly where you want to be because things can kind of get sort of bogged down on the bottom. Everybody's sort of slowing up, down there. And on the top, you can sort of run a little bit more free and use that momentum to your advantage. So restarts will be crazy if we see them tonight. We haven't seen any in our other recruitment races. As we see the 35 of Mike Sargent right here have a little excursion on the pit road. But yeah, hopefully we'll get a chance to see some of these guys in action, see what they can do tonight.
And last question before I get down to the track to talk to the drivers for just a minute. After all, it is a recruitment race. Does the draft play any sort of role here, especially maybe as the cars are a little bit packed up and closer together early on in a run?
I would say on this track, maybe not as much as some other 1.5 miles, and especially this car. Maybe in something like the truck that does punch a much bigger hole in the air. As we watch Evan Pienta take his laps around Homestead-Miami right here. I don't think that it'll be as huge of an advantage because the middle of the corner speed here is a little bit lower than some of the other 1.5 miles. It being a perfectly symmetrical oval, being very, very worn out. You know, it's probably not as fast as what you will see on other tracks. So I'd be willing to say that you probably will not see much draft effect tonight.
Okay, well, I'm going to leave the grid walk to go through the starting lineup to you as I go down and talk to these drivers. I will be back momentarily.
All right. We're going to watch Evan Piena right here make his final lap, and I think that he's going to make it all the way back to the line before time runs out on this session. Right now, fastest is Jacob Bradley. He's currently fastest at a 33.587 with Justin Gann close behind in second. Evan Pienta crosses the line right here, and it looks like Evan will be starting from the third position tonight. Really, really good lap for Evan. And that will end the session.
Okay, guys, we appreciate all you who came out tonight, whether you are a
All right, so as qualifying wraps up right here, we got Jacob Bradley on the pole with a 33.587. Terrific lap for Jacob here. Starting on the outside pole, we got Justin Gann. Jacob's looking for his second in a row, but maybe Justin's got something to say about it tonight. Starting on row number 2. On the inside, Evan Pienta. Driving that Mobil 1 Chevrolet. He'll be starting third. On the outside, starting fourth, we got Bailey Dutton. Starting in row 3, we got Scott Subzak. He will be starting fifth. He is going to be joining us in Slingshot this season, and he had a really good run last week at Las Vegas, or I'm sorry, 2 days ago at Las Vegas. So starting on the outside, we've got Johnny Rapp. Inside of row 4 is going to be Richard Hurst. He's going to be joining us for Slingshot this season. Looking forward to seeing Richard in action tonight. On the outside, we've got Chris Hacker. And on row 5, starting in 9th position, we've got Nick Sheridan with a 34.285. And on the outside, Slingshot regular Paul Thomas. And as the starting lineup begins to roll on the bottom of the screen, these drivers will head out for one pace lap before the green flag will drop tonight. Chase Berry did not take a qualifying lap, and he is currently going to start in the 13th position.
Yeah, Chase Berry is one of those guys who's kind of notorious for taking that start at the very end and then working his way up through the lineup or the standing. So that'll be one to watch tonight for sure, Chris. I'm excited to see what he does. You can see the drivers now driving past those 1,005 palm trees that I mentioned, but as we said earlier, it's not going to be a vacation for those guys on the track tonight. We expect to see plenty of side-by-side racing. Certainly, it's going to be interesting as these drivers go down into turn 1 to see if everyone's able to hold on to it. This track is notorious for being a little bit treacherous in these first laps.
Yeah, this pace car pulls off, leaves the field in the hands of Jacob Bradley.
Here they go. They're going to take the green here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Bradley's going to get a nice launch down into 1 with Justin Gann and Evan Pienta. Gann gets loose. He's going to hit Sobzak. He gets into several cars.
Oh, several cars involved. There's the caution right there. As looks like we did have several cars involved. Let's see if we can go back and we can take a look possibly at what happened here. So I know Johnny Rapp was in the middle of it. Looks like this 30 car got a little bit loose.
Yeah, Justin Gann got a little bit loose here. He almost gathered up, and maybe had that 81 of Sobzak not been there, he would have been able to hang on to it. But it looks like he's gonna get through there fairly unscathed.
Yeah, yeah, that worked out pretty well for him, and didn't work out so well for Johnny Rapp. We'll go back and we'll take a look at what Johnny Rapp saw here going down into this turn. Johnny was up high right here, and they just come up, and there's just nowhere for him to go. And see the 35, that is Mike Sargent, was also involved in that. So tough break for a few of these guys.
Yeah, we already got some guys who have disconnected. The 35 is not going to be able to continue, it doesn't look like. Mike Sargent isn't going to be able to continue. So you hate to see those guys go, but again, most of the field made it through probably okay. We will say that all these drivers have one quick repair. So a little surprised that those guys didn't take that quick repair, but
yeah,
might have just been frustrated a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes that can happen, especially when you put in the time and you put in the effort. Out here, you kind of hate to see that happen in front of you. So yeah, it might have been just a little bit frustration on those guys' part right there.
And I doubt we'll be seeing any cars pit at this point. If I had to guess, I doubt we'll be seeing any cars pit. Just 1 or 2 laps in on those tires. So right now might be a good opportunity to just step away and run a quick commercial break. All right, so we're back in Homestead-Miami after a early caution involving the third place car of Justin Gann. Goes around and collects several other drivers, including Johnny Rapp, Chris Hacker, and Mike Sargent, now out of the race. But I believe this time they're going to come and take the 1 to go, and we'll get a restart with starting on lap 6.
Yeah, one guy that I want to mention that started near the back of the field, but that's caution right there worked in his favor, is the driver of the number 5, Chase Berry. Chase is now finding himself, he's going to be restarting on the outside of row 2 on this restart. So great jump for Chase here, and we'll see if he can make something happen on this restart. One of the guys that was involved in that last incident, Johnny Rapp. Johnny's going to be restarting in 10th, but as you mentioned, he got that quick repair. And we'll take a look here at the number 52 Mission Barbecue Dodge. It looks pretty good right now.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's got too much damage, so he should probably be able to continue on
he took that
with no major issue.
Yeah, so Johnny's going to be looking to make his way back up to the front of the field, and hopefully these guys will see just what happens when you turn off into that first turn there without sort of tiptoeing just a little bit on these fresh tires. We've seen that in this car. I think we saw it at Michigan in our recruitment race where we had a spin very early on there in that race. So maybe these guys will have that worked out of their system here, and on this restart here, we'll see them put together a few laps here.
So that control car And first place will remain the same with Jacob Bradley in the 50. And then we've got a newcomer here starting on the outside here, Bailey Dutton. So he'll be one to keep an eye on with Evan Pienta and Chase Berry closely behind. Pace car pulls off, and we're getting ready to take our second green flag of this race. It's out. Bradley is going to get that launch that he got on the restart. We'll see if Bailey Dutton can hold on, unlike second place last time. Going to take it relatively easy. Chase Berry is going to look like he's going to slot into fourth right behind these guys. And everyone's minding their P's and Q's. I see Paul Thomas slipping back just a little bit. He might have got a little bit loose on the outside line there. And he's going to kind of lose several spots on the restart. But he looks to have gotten control of it again and looks like he is okay.
Yeah, it looks like the whole field, they learned their lesson from that first lap. And everybody has safely navigated a lap under green here as we got a battle for second.
Yeah. Bailey Dutton kind of trying to hold on, but Evan Pienta, this is something we saw him do in our recruitment race on Tuesday night. He's able to kind of ride that outside line and get that momentum. Right? You lose that momentum into the corner, but you gain it on exit because you've got a much wider turning radius and you're not clipping as much speed off that car. And he looks like he's definitely got a hot rod under him tonight. That is Evan Pienta running now second.
Yeah, and he's running that high side right there. It's very, very different than the guy in front of him, Jacob Bradley, who's sort of straddling that seam a little bit, maybe putting the left front on that seam. That's a really fast line that a lot of people used to run here all the time. We'll take a look back from Jacob Bradley at Evans. See, Evans got his left front right on that seam. That sort of, gives you that little bit of turn. If you can put that left front on that little bit less banking, it'll sort of de-wedge the car and make it a little bit looser so that you can get a little bit better turn.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it looks like we've also got Bailey Dutton. I don't know if he's loose. He looks like he's definitely loose. Slid it a little bit out of turn 2 there, riding kind of on the outer line, but he looks to have gathered it back up, and Evan is right behind Jacob right now. So this is going to be a battle definitely to watch. We know Jacob is great at saving these tires, which is critical at a track like this, and maybe Evan learned a little bit on Tuesday night to see if he can kind of reel Jacob in over time and not drive his tires off. But if he's running on the outside like that, that's definitely going to be something he's got to be concerned with. Now, one guy to keep an eye on right now in fourth place, we've got a battle for fourth and third going on between Nick Sheridan and Bailey Dutton in the 26. You can see Sheridan kind of running a little bit slightly lower line than Bailey Dutton, and we'll see if he has a similar result to what Evan Pienta did earlier.
Yeah, Sheridan, he put that left front right on that seam, just like we were talking about before, and he's going to pull right up on the back bumper here of Bailey Dutton, getting really close to him. He's got that car turning real nice on the bottom. That's what I would like to see here early on in the race at Michigan, as we see Paul Thomas coming off of pit road. Looks like he had an unscheduled pit stop, maybe a serving a penalty, but yeah, it looks like everybody has safely navigated these laps here. Johnny Rapp, give a little update on Johnny.
Oh, we got a car on the wall. Nick Sheridan took it a little bit too high out of the corner and just scraped the wall a little bit. I don't know how hard he hit it, but he should be okay. He continues on with the 81 of Sobzak closing in behind him, and now kind of watching, he definitely might be having some issues with that car turning.
Yeah, it looks like on the replay right here, he committed to the gas a little bit too soon, and it's started to step out on him. He was trying to use that banking. He was trying to use the banking to turn the car, and had just a little bit of trouble once he reached sort of that threshold of right rear grip.
We do have a battle going on for, it looks like, 8th place between Richard Hurst and Dustin Gann, with Hurst looking like he's going to make the move in that 15 right underneath the 30 of Gann. So Gann, who started second, is struggling a little bit after that early race spin. He's going to see if he can work his way back up. But right now, Richard Hurst kind of making the inside line work underneath him. And they're both closing in on the 5 of Chase Berry, who had worked his way up through the field due to that crash, but it slipped back just a little bit And I'm curious to know if that is because Chase is saving tires, which we know he happens to be really skilled at.
Yeah, he is, and I would say that these guys are thinking about tires more than anything right now. After I heard some of the numbers at the end of the race at Las Vegas, apparently they really wore those suckers out. So you see right here, Richard Hurst trying to make the pass. Richard looking really good. It looks like he's keeping it real nice and steady right here on the bottom, and he's going to try to make this pass on Chase Berry, but Chase says not so fast.
Yeah, and you can see that hollow view lens cam where we can see some telemetry for Richard in terms of his speed and closing rate on the car in front of him. So kind of an interesting view there from Pierce Graphics. Let's take a look. We've got a battle. We had a battle going on for second place between Bailey Dutton and Evan Pienta near the front of the field, but that has since calmed down. But it does look like Scott Sobczak in the 81 now is going low on Nick Sheridan in that 45. So we definitely got some action. Scott in that 81 trying to make up ground again after being involved in that early lap one caution.
Yeah, Scott did a really nice job keeping his car under control right here, and you see Nick Sheridan in front of him. It's like Nick has also kind of recovered from his wall contact. We'll see if, hopefully he didn't punish his tires. I see that car stepping out just a little bit there in the middle of 3 and 4, so we know that he is pushing it pretty hard right here. Get some last lap speeds right here at the line right after they crossed it last time, and it looks like our leader, Jacob Bradley, with 34.310 was the fastest guy on the track. But one thing I noticed, all the speeds are really, really close together as we see the 81 of Sobczak. He is going to make that pass on the 45 of Nick Sheridan.
It looks like 45 might cross him over here and see if he can get a run. Now he's going to tuck right back in behind, and he might be done with that for now. Speaking of fastest guy on the track, should we see if we can bring Jacob Bradley into the broadcast booth and see what's going on with the car?
Sure, let's go for it.
Jacob Bradley, this is the Slingshot broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
All right, man. Well, similar position to what you were in the other night. We've got an eye on you, kind of close racing early on, but you're keeping these guys at bay for now. Talk to us about your fuel and tire situation. First, can you make it the entire race on a tank of fuel?
I haven't really checked. I did run fourth the entire caution, so I should be fine. We started with just enough, and I think if everybody saved under that caution, they'll be fine with gas.
Where are your tires at right now? What are you feeling out there?
I tried to keep driving off the right rear, so hopefully I have the right front left for these guys to keep this going on the long run.
Where do you feel like the biggest challenge in terms of not driving that right rear too hard is on the track for you right now?
It's just the setup's really, really loose, so you gotta be really, really easy on that throttle on and off the corner.
All right, so throttle control is the name of the game. We'll let you get back to it. Up the front, Jacob Bradley leading this recruitment race at Homestead-Miami. Thanks, Jacob.
All right, guys.
All right, so up at the front right now, we've got Jacob Bradley that we just talked to, followed second, not too far behind, about 0.8 of a second behind right now is Bailey Dutton. He's keeping view of Jacob, and then Evan Pienta running solidly in third. And Scott Sobczak, who's kind of making his way through the field. He's not a guy I would rule out if we get another caution. Nick Sheridan also has been running the top five most of the race. Johnny Rapp is in sixth, exactly where he started. Looks like he might be involved in a battle right now. However, with Sheridan, he's going to get by and go up to fifth. So now Sheridan is up 3 and Rapp is up 1. The biggest loser of the race maybe is Justin Gann right now and running in 7th. He's lost 5 spots as a result of that early crash. Richard Hurst with a solid run in 8th. 9th is Chase Berry. 10th is Monty Sprague in that 17 car. And rounding out the race right now in 11th is Paul Thomas, slingshot regular. So it's been a fairly calm race despite that first lap being pretty eventful for some of our drivers. We just heard from Jacob Bradley that fuel is not likely to be an issue, but tires are. So it remains a question if Jacob will be able to kind of manage his tires with Bailey Dutton not too far behind.
Yeah, one person I'm really keeping an eye on is this 81 right here, Scott Sobczak. We see Scott go into the inside of Evan Pienta right here. Evan is all the way up on the wall right here. I'm going to be really interested to see what Scott's speed is like towards the end of the run.
Oh, we got a car around. It looks like Sheridan. Sheridan is around. So that's going to bring out our second caution of the race.
Yeah.
So now this is going to be really interesting. Sheridan just lost it off the corner, it looked like.
Yeah, it looks like he... Oh, it started all the way back here. Let's go all the way back here. He was in a drift. This is a prime example right here of some abuse on that right rear tire. He just got a little bit behind on the steering, nosed it into the wall, and then does a really nice job of just keeping it straight. He doesn't lock them down because I think he's afraid he won't be able to control where it'll spin if it does. And he loops it back around and keeps it going. Nice maneuvering right there.
Yeah, it really was. And now these drivers are on the backstretch. They're catching up to the pace car. And pit road should be open this time. So this is going to be really interesting. Jacob Bradley looks like he's going to take the apron, and these drivers will take that access road to pit road. Now, tell me, Chris, I might be wrong, but do these drivers have to take the access road under caution?
You do not, but... you know, the leader is going down here, and you know you can't pass anybody in front of you, so it's no big deal if you do it, but you don't have to do it. You used to have to do it here back in the day, but NASCAR has since moved away from that.
So all the drivers come down pit road for what will likely be a 4-tire stop, and they'll fill up with gas, and we're approximately exactly halfway, so we might consider this even a halftime break. But these drivers are going to pull into their pit stop. We see Jacob Bradley with that #1 pit stop. Justin Gann, I'm curious to see if he can make up any spots with a quick pit stop and exit and release from pit road.
Yeah,
you can see our pit lane report. We've got those speeds times pulled up right now.
Yeah, this is what they call feeding time at the zoo right now. As Jacob Bradley is gonna he's gonna win the race off of pit road.
Did Dutton get second, or did Pienta hang on to it? I can't really tell. We'll find out in a minute. Looks like.
Yeah, it was close, but yeah, we'll see once everything cycles through right here. We'll sort of see where everybody stands as they come around here. So it'll be Jacob Bradley as the control car on this restart, and starting on his outside, it's either going to be Evan Pienta in the 00 or Bailey Dutton in that black #8 Budweiser Chevy. And I think that Evan might have won the race because it looks like he's lining up on his outside here.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Speaking of Evan, let's just see if we can take a look very, very quickly at the windshield banner on that car. Looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Is that a preview of
that
what's
that might be a sneak peek of things to come. Yeah, looks pretty good.
So yeah, it does look very good. If you're watching Evan Pienta Designs, who's driving this car. Evan Pienta is driving this car right now. He's our graphic designer for the league, and he does all sorts of decals and graphics for us, including our new windshield banners for the Apex Energy Cup Series. So yeah, he did a great job on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like we mentioned, if you are a stock car driver on iRacing, we are recruiting drivers for this series and our truck series, and we'd love to have you. Check out our website at slingshotracing.org. We've also got plenty of socials down there that looks like they just came up as well. So Instagram, Facebook, and obviously we're on Twitch right now. So
yeah, we would love to have you as part of either the Apex Energy Cup Series or the Apex Energy Truck Series. Cup Series will race on Tuesday nights. this season, racing this car here, the Yarka car, and the Truck Series will be racing on Wednesday night. So we would love to have you part of either one of them.
Absolutely, and if you if you do follow us on socials, you know that we tend to do giveaways frequently. Every week, every couple of weeks, we like to give something away. We've got a lot of diecast and actually race used sheet metal we're going to be giving away this season, so we're excited about that. And stay tuned, follow us on socials for more information about how you can potentially win some of those NASCAR diecast and actually race used sheet metal from the cars you're seeing right now.
Absolutely. And as we get lined up here for the restart, Jacob Bradley on these fresh tires. Now, I'll be interested to see if our buddy Justin Gann here, starting on the outside of row number 2. We know Justin had a little bit of trouble on the initial start. Let's see how he navigates turns 1 and 2 this time. Scott Sobczak, I think Scott's been pretty fast here tonight. It's been really impressive. And he's recovered very nicely from his trouble. So as Johnny Rapp up here in the 6th position, we know Chase Berry loves Homestead-Miami Speedway so much in 7th spot, and Richard Hurst in the 8th spot.
All right, pace car pulls off. We're coming to take lap 29. Bradley, the control car, is going to get that jump, and it looks like Pienta had a little bit trouble going, so Bailey Dutton is going to get into 2nd place, it looks like, on the inside there. There's got to be some urgency on this restart. Looks like we got a car almost around. He hangs on to it in 2. We keep on racing to 5. Evan Pienta gets a little bit loose off of 2 as well. He hangs on to it enough to kind of peel down the racetrack a little bit and see if he can get a run on 2nd place. Gann right now on the outside of Sobczak in battle for 4th place. Oh, Pienta's loose again. Going to hold on to it. Sobczak's going to take 3rd away from him going into 1, though. So we'll see, is Scott Sobczak mounting a charge? Can anyone really chase
Evan,
down
hang
Jacob
on to
Bradley?
it.
He is loose.
Evan is sideways.
Oh, man.
That was impressive right there.
Cold tires. That was quite an impressive save.
Yeah, that's just an example of, this car on cold tires on this really worn out surface. You can see what it does, and it's tough to hold on to it.
And you really got to take it easy on those tires a lap or 2 after that, because they're not going to get any better. They're definitely going to be even angrier.
They sure are. Sobczak right here. Sobczak's got really nice turn through the middle of 1 and 2. You can see how he get pretty close to that white line, a little bit lower than Bailey Dutton ahead of him, as Dutton tries to see what he can do to chase down the number 50 of Jacob Bradley.
Yeah, and Gann is not far behind Sobczak. Takes a look underneath him off of 4. Gann's the guy we were talking about earlier who couldn't hang on to it going into turn 1, but he's mounted a pretty nice comeback in 4th now with Sheridan in that 45 car looking underneath though. Oh, Evans off the corner, loose off the corner. Evans going to hang on to it though. Pienta now with at least 3 saves in as many laps. Wow, that might have been the most impressive save so far.
Oh my gosh, yes. Whenever you can get the car that sideways and hang on to it, you're working hard, and that was a nice save by Evan Pienta.
Oh, Sheridan is loose in 5th place on the front stretch, but he's going to hang on to it. Man, early on, that's surprising that with these fresh tires, and you think by now they'd have a little bit of time to get some heat in them, that these guys are struggling like they are. Multiple drivers struggling.
Yeah, that's just Homestead-Miami Speedway right there. Track that just doesn't have a lot of grip on it, and these guys know there's only 17 laps to go. These guys know that that might have been the last restart right here, so you're going to be as close as you can possibly be to your fellow competitors.
Yeah, absolutely. But the way things are going, it might not be the last restart.
It might not be it, yeah. Shouldn't say anything. Yeah, how about Justin Gann right here? This is impressive. Before we saw him get really, really loose, bring out the first caution of the race, and that can really, bust a driver's confidence. But you see that he's not shy about getting up in here and mixing it up, and he's doing a really nice job.
Yeah, he really is. I think if that were me, I would have probably been dropping back and just taking it easy. But he's going for it. He's in the mix here for third and second place, and he's right on top of these guys. We've got a pretty good grouping going on for the top 5 right now. Bradley continues to lead in that 50 car, but Bailey Dutton is right behind. It looks like Sobzak might try to make a move for second place. Oh, we got Sheridan off the track on that stretch.
I think that he's
gonna hold on to it.
Yeah, he's gonna hold on to it. We stay green.
We'll continue green. Yes,
yep,
absolutely.
He's made his way back to this.
Sobzak is still looking on the inside, seeing if he can draw closer to Dutton in that 26. With only 16 laps remaining, Sobzak, let's take a look at his speeds right now. His lap time, he's actually,
it looks like the last lap, a 33.958, and that ties with Chase Berry for fastest lap on the track. So yeah, he's putting together some nice laps right here. The only thing that I worry about, is when he gets to the inside of, yeah, he's taking a peek here.
Now that is, just to be clear, that's difficult when you go into that corner a little bit lower, because that 26 has kind of a wider arc, which is just naturally going to make the car turn better. But you see Sobzak keeping his nose on that quarter panel, just looking and looking and looking.
Yeah, and this is tough sledding down here, especially when the tires are new. When the tires are new like this, there's not so much of a discrepancy in speed as he gets right up on the door of that number 8 right there of Bailey Dutton.
Oh, Dutton is loose.
Oh,
it
he's
looks like
loose.
A little bit. Yeah, Dutton is loose, which is going to open the door for Gann to see if he can take third away. And now it's between Bradley and Sobzak, and I wouldn't count Gann out either. But Sobzak's been a guy we've been watching all night who's pretty fast, and it looks like Jacob Bradley might be changing up his line just a little bit, maybe in response to what he's seeing from Sobzak. He sees that Sobzak's able to run low and maybe just as fast, because that gap right now is only 0.4 of a second. And seeing it through turn 2, it continues to close. He's now 0.3 of a second. Sobzak is going to have something to say about this race with just about 10 laps to go from now.
Yeah, I like to call it, he's just sticking a fender. He's just got a fender in the wind. Sometimes that's all that it takes. Dirty air is present in iRacing. It's probably nowhere near as prevalent as it is in real life, but you get behind a car and you can feel it. And Sobzak's doing what he needs to do right here. He slid a little bit that time off of turn 2, but you can do that here. Here at Homestead-Miami, you can sort of use the banking to catch your car, and he used it to try to keep his foot in the gas right here, but. Yeah, it's going to come down. It's going to come down to the wire by the looks of it.
Yeah. So right now it's a 1/4 of a second. He's dropping down. He's going to be approaching under 0.2 of a second. I think Sobzak's got the fastest car on the racetrack right now, and I just wonder what Jacob Bradley's got to be thinking in that car about how do you respond to being the fastest car all night and then have a car charging with less than 10 laps to go. What if you're the driver? What's going through your head at this point, Chris?
Well, I don't know, because I'm not in his position. I'm not in his shoes. But Jacob,
here we go.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off, but we got a battle going on.
Yeah, he's right on his rear bumper right here. I don't know how much Jacob has been saving for these last few laps, but I don't think Sobzak's going to let him save anymore if he has been saving.
No, Jacob takes away his line there. So sorry to cut you off, but the battle is heating up. Sobzak's going to go low into 3. Jacob's got that outside line, though, and that wider arc, so we'll see if that helps him keep that momentum and carry it off the corner.
Yeah, Sobzak, like I said, he's got really good turn right in the center of the corner right here, and here is the point right here. He wants to be able to clear him off of turn 2 right here, and Jacob Bradley wants to do everything he can to try to get that momentum off of turn 2, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Sobzak's going to easily clear him.
Bradley might have driven his stuff off a little bit early, and that's surprising, but maybe equally as surprising that Scott Sobzak, a guy we've seen run with us for just a couple races now, is got something for what's been the dominant guy, at least for the last several weeks in slingshot racing. And now Gann's going to make a pass at the 50 of Bradley. We'll see how that works out.
Yeah, Justin Gann looks like he's got a lot of speed right now, and we'll put up some laps at the line right here. I know that Sobzak and Bradley were side by side, so it might not be 100% accurate, but Justin Gann with a 34.475 that last lap, a little bit faster than Jacob Bradley, and he's going to look to the inside of the number 50.
And he's going to take it. So how about that? He's back to where he started now after 43 laps.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
Is gapping him just a little bit, but I don't know. Gann might have something to say about this.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too shocked if Justin Gann, after seeing what he's done all race and seeing the perseverance that he's had all race, he's done a really nice job. Just sticking with it, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him maybe try to put together some laps here and try to make a run at that number 81 Square D Ford.
Yeah. So while that's going on, we do have a battle, looks like, going on for 4th place between Johnny Rapp, actually for 5th place between Johnny Rapp and Chase Berry, with Rapp running right now in 5th and Berry right behind in 6th. They're both running that outside line. And Berry is going to get that momentum off the corner and actually try to get underneath him. And he's going to take that spot. So Berry moves up to 5th with that move.
Yeah, you can see him. He's losing that momentum, but he uses the banking of the top lane to catch the car, and he is going to make that pass.
Yep, that variable banking that we talked about in pre-race. Now Chase Berry making use of it. So right now we've got 4 laps remaining in the slingshot recruitment race at Homestead-Miami. And right now it's all Scott Sobzak in the front with Justin Gann running about 3/4 of a second behind and maybe making a little inroads here, but he's pushing up. He's just trying different lines. I don't know if Gann is necessarily going to have anything for Scott Sobzak, the leader right now in that 81 Square D Ford Taurus.
Yeah, if you look at speeds at the line right here, Sobzak just ran a 34.611 compared to Gann's 34.776. Sobzak's got really good speed right now. Really good staying power, and there's just something to say about running that inside. You're going the shortest distance around the track. You're having to use less throttle to be fast. I'm telling you, it is the line to run here. It is the line to run. I probably shouldn't be saying too much, right?
No, you're fine.
Giving away too many secrets.
You have a driver's perspective.
Well, Jacob Bradley's putting together some corners here. Maybe he can try to make a run back. But looking at the last lap right there, don't know if he's going to be able to chase down the 30 of Gann as Scott Sobzak comes off of turn 4 for the white flag.
Yeah, so Scott's just got to make it around one more time to claim his first slingshot victory. Hopefully not putting any jinxes on him, but Scott's going to be running with us in the Cup Series this year, so that's exciting to see a newcomer come here and give the rest of the field, including some former slingshot racers, a bit of a clinic, it looks like, especially with those moves he put on Bradley in the closing stages of the race. So Scott Sobzak here going to come off of 4 to take his first slingshot victory at the slingshot recruitment race at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Justin Gann's going to finish second after bringing out the caution on lap 1. Jacob Bradley's going to hang on to a 3rd place. Bailey Dutton's going to finish 4th. Chase Berry, a slingshot racer, in 5th. Johnny Rapp, also a slingshot veteran, in 6th. Monty Sprague, a newcomer in that 17 car, in 7th. Richard Hurst, 8th. 9th is Evan Panta. And rounding out the top 10 is Paul Thomas. So good win for Scott Sobzak. Hard-fought race. We said in the beginning it wasn't going to be a vacation despite those palm trees. And for Jacob Bradley and others, it was definitely not. We're going to see if we can get Scott Sobzak into the booth. Let's see. Give me just 1 second.
Yeah, sure. And Scott Sobzak's going to park it on the front stretch here, and he's going to light them up, and he's going to let it eat right here. So probably not the last time that we'll see Scott in victory lane and slingshot after seeing him in these last few races. So really impressive performance by him tonight, especially considering all that he had to overcome from early in this race until now. And it might be difficult to hunt Scott down since he might not be in a team channel in our Discord.
We're trying. I mentioned it, but I don't know if he's going to be up for it or not. I don't know if he's got the capabilities right now. There he is. Okay, we're going to drag him in. All right, Scott Sobczak, Slingshot Broadcast Booth. Do you got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Oh, man, congrats. Hard-fought race out there. Your first Slingshot win. How's it feel?
Oh, pretty cool, pretty good. I mean, it was a little sketchy there in the very beginning, and it was one of those deals where I just figured we'd come in and pit, see whatever damage we had after that first lap incident there in the first turn, and just figured save the tires to the end and see what would happen, and it worked out.
Yeah, so I imagine it was bad enough, but you did have that quick repair after the 30 spun in the first corner. What do you feel like was the biggest difference? We kind of saw you and the leader, Jacob Bradley, running two different lines. Talk to us about your strategy on the final 10 to 15 laps or so after that restart.
Yeah, I mean, Homestead is a track that's known for running the wall and ripping the wall, but when you're running long runs here in these cars, kind of arcing it down in the corner is really the way to go, and you can kind of run that top in turn one if you want to, but I seemed like I was just a little bit lower, one line or two lower than Bradley for the last couple laps or last laps before I got to him, and I think I saved just enough to keep it kind of on the right rear and eventually just have the pace to get by him.
Yeah, it's not that often that we've seen guys, at least in recent memory for slingshot racing, be able to save tires like Jacob Bradley has. So great job at that tonight. We're glad to see you get a win. You're going to be running in our Cup Series starting in January. So we're excited for that. What shout outs do you have for anybody who might be listening or watching right now?
I wish I had any shout outs, but I'm just happy to be a part of it all.
Awesome. Well, we are glad to have you, and I'll say it. We appreciate you maybe donating a couple diecasts that we're going to be doing for giveaways later on in the season. So thank you again for that.
Yeah, absolutely, no problem.
All right. Have a good night. We'll talk to you later.
Appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
All right, so that was Scott Sobczak. I'm interested to see what the other side of that story is with Jacob Bradley. We'll pull him into the broadcast booth and talk to him about what happened to him in those final 15 laps that saw Sobczak and Justin Gann get by.
Yeah, let's see what Jacob's got to say about it. It was a great race and a little bit of a surprise there at the last end. So Scott did a great job saving his tires and preserving them. Yeah,
Jacob Bradley. Slingshot booth, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
So, did not turn out the way that it did a couple nights ago. You're on the other end of that result with Scott Sobczak getting by you with about 10 laps to go. What happened? It looked like your tires were just not where you would have liked them to have been.
I just knew I didn't have much short run pace. He was faster than me that entire last run. The moment he got clear of the second place car there, I knew I was kind of in trouble. He had more pace than me in practice through the short run. And I really wanted that first stint to be all 50 laps through, no caution, because I knew that I was only going to outrun him on the long run. And I saved my tires fine. I never knew how to go that fast on the short run here.
Well, you gave it the old college try. And we enjoyed seeing you out there pushing it to the limits. A lot of guys were pushing out to the limits. You probably couldn't see it from your view, but those final 15 laps after that restart, the final 20 laps after that restart, things got wild for a lot of guys. You might have seen Evan Pienta get loose. Nick Sheridan got loose a couple times. Evan Pienta might have had the save of the race. So you weren't alone out there struggling with tires. So Good job bringing it home. You got any shout outs for anyone before we let you go?
Yeah, I didn't shout out my parents. They were watching the stream. I couldn't bring this one home, but maybe we'll get the next one.
Plenty more opportunities. Jacob Bradley, thanks for racing with us tonight, my friend.
Thank you guys for putting it on.
All right. So, one last kind of reflection maybe on how things went tonight. Chris, early on, we talked about, despite the palm trees, wasn't a vacation. We talked about the need to save tires. And we talked about the importance of those restarts if we were to see them gaining positions early on in the drive off. And that's something that I think Scott Sobczak took advantage of and maybe Jacob Bradley struggled with, like you just told us. What are your final thoughts on how things went and what we saw tonight?
Yeah, I'm glad that we got a chance to talk to both Scott and Jacob. I just kind of assumed that maybe Jacob ran hard on the restart and maybe burned up a little bit of tire, but it sounds like he just wasn't as comfortable with the short run as he was with the long run. So, he had a little bit better insight into his speed than I think that I did. So, really appreciate his, clarification there and hearing what he thought. It was really loose by the looks of it. It was really loose on new tires, and I know that we saw the incident at the very beginning with Justin Gann. He recovered for a nice second place finish. So I think that maybe it was just different points of the run had different guys, certain strengths at certain points, and it looks like Scott Sobczak just had that really, really good sort of 10 lap, 15 lap speed there to come away with the victory.
Yeah, and that strategy proved to be pretty crucial for that victory tonight. So Scott Sobczak, like we mentioned, is going to be running in the Apex Energy Cup Series, which starts in January. One final preview for those two series that Slingshot Racing League will be putting on. We're running the Cup Series with these ARCA cars on Tuesday nights. And we'll be running a truck series that is open to everyone on Wednesday nights. And if you're interested in any of those, you can see the schedules right now on your screen. Note that the Cup Series does have a minimum 1,750 I rating requirement. And you can kind of see the details of what we tend to run. We've got great schedules. I know a lot of our Cup drivers are excited about that Red Bull Ring race in Austria in March. Kind of going to be an interesting and exciting challenge. I know that I'm looking forward to calling that race. But we've got weekly prizes, we got cool trophies from UD Awards, and we got a great community. So we just want to grow, and we want to continue to be a place where drivers kind of all backgrounds and skill levels can come and call a home. So yeah, we appreciate everyone who showed up tonight, our drivers, but we also appreciate our fans who might have been watching. So you can catch us on Tuesday, Wednesday, and maybe even sometime Thursday nights on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. Everyone, have a great night. For now, later.